Welcome to In the Cut, the show that gets you up close and personal with BN and our community. Good afternoon or morning or evening, wherever you are. Welcome to In the Cut, the show that gets you up close and personal with BN and our community. As you can see, we have our very special guest here in person, two special guests. You know, today I am Mary Jackson, notably from Hidden Figures. So that's who I was in the DragonCon parade. We are live at DragonCon today. And for those of you who don't know, I am Mandisa Thomas, founder and president of BlackNonbelievers. So we just got to get the intro out of the way. In the Cut is a production of BlackNonbelievers, a 501c3 organization headquartered in the Atlanta area. We connect with other Blacks and allies who are living free of religion and might otherwise be shunned by family and friends by providing a caring, friendly, and informative community. Instead of accepting dogma, we determine truth and morality through reason and evidence. And the mission of BlackNonbelievers is to provide secular fellowship, nurture and support non-believers in coming out, also known as open identification, encourage pride in non-religious identities, educate the public on the history and current state of non-belief in the Black community, and organize events and charitable causes, and events for charitable causes. And of course, you can always visit our website to learn more. BN welcomes all regardless of age, gender identity, sexual identity, national origin, or racial identity. However, our work and our content prioritizes Black non-religious voices. So this is a very, very special weekend because it is not only my birthday weekend, we have another birthday in the house whose birthday is today.
Yes, y'all.
And so, of course, for my birthday, I always encourage everyone to donate to BlackNonbelievers. It really, really helps with our work. It helps with our operations. We are set up here near the Skep track at the Hilton Atlanta downtown. We are here with our merch heavy. If you are watching and you will be attending DragonCon, be sure to see us. We are set up on the second floor, right across from the East Graham Ballroom. And as always, I'm so happy to say that after appearing on the Hang Up with Matt Dillahunty the other day, I called in and just, we did a plug for the fundraiser, and we received over $2,000 in donations in the matter of a day. Wow. And I can't tell you how much that means to us, how much it means to our work, because it just really, really helps us out. Like he said, I wish we could get $1 million, right? That would really, really help us. And so here we are. We have folks coming up to the table. Yes. We have folks who remember us. How you doing, sir? And so we have a really good time talking with folks. We have a really good time trying to raise money for this organization, so that it helps with programming like this. It helps us with our scholarship. It helps with everything that we do here at the organization, which of course always amplifies the voices of the Black non-religious demographic. And the ways you can donate through Facebook. We are on Cashapp at BlackNonbelievers. You can also donate via PayPal's Giving Fund. If you prefer to contribute anonymously, then you can do so through that particular link. And of course, we have our regular PayPal donate link, and also through ActBlue, which was where we got those donations from, which was great. So and then people are donating through the Facebook link. Of course, donating through PayPal helps a lot, but we try to offer those options for people who don't like PayPal because it happens.
Yeah.
So, and of course, if you're coming by the table, of course, good old cash helps as well. So come on by, drop a donation, pick up some merch, and support the work that we do. It's very, very important.
I'm sensing a theme that you want people to donate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yes. Donate.
Yes. Yeah. In case you missed it.
Yes, donate. And yes, this helps make my birthday weekend and Leighann's birthday, who I'm going to introduce very, very shortly. And so I in a parade, I played Mary Jackson, whom, if you aren't familiar with her, was one of the protagonists in the movie Hidden Figures. Mm-hmm. She was NASA's first Black female engineer. She was honored with numerous awards, some posthumously, after she died. But the whole point was that, her and other Black computers and those who were in the science field, their work was overlooked for a number of years, too many years. And so, I was very, very happy when Margaret asked me to play one of the Hidden Figures.
That's awesome.
And so I chose Mary. I think I got most of her get up down. I looked, I was definitely looking at, how she dressed back in the day. So I was like, okay, cool. Sister wore pants too. So I was like, okay, yeah. And it was just really, really great hearing, her, reading her story and reading her accomplishments, and just really being able to represent and represent her for this parade, for the skeptics, and just for Black women, period. Yeah, she's awesome.
Very cool.
So if you aren't familiar with her, make sure you Google Mary Jackson and just learn more about her and also the other women that were represented in Hidden Figures. If you type in Hidden Figures, you'll find them. So,
and if you haven't seen the movie, I remember seeing it. I'm like, I've never felt so proud.
Yeah. Yes.
And yet so stupid.
Right.
At the same time. Like, woo! These chicks was working it out. I mean, not they didn't need a calculator, they were the calculator.
Right. Yes, they were.
I'm like, is this doing this in ink?
Right,
what?
right. I mean, I couldn't even fathom.
Not at all.
Not at all. Like, math scares me, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, just knowing that these women were able to break these barriers, especially at a time when it was extremely difficult. It just.
Oh, you mean
really
like now?
Because
things are so much easier.
Yeah, I mean, we can't get lynched anymore. Well, we could, but it's kind of still illegal.
So we can get the jobs, but we're still being paid less for them. So progress.
Yes. Yeah, somewhat, but yeah,
I'm sorry,
definitely. No.
I will derail you at every opportunity, so I'll behave myself.
You know what? This makes the show go by, so that's perfect. So, with that being said, yes, please do. Thank you all. Thank you to everyone who supported our summer fundraiser. Thank you to everyone who has supported our birthday fundraiser so far. We really, really do appreciate it, and we thank you. Sir, this is BlackNonbelievers. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization made up of atheists, humanists, agnostics, and folks who do not subscribe to religion. Right now, we're doing our YouTube show, so if you'd like to come and say hi, you can. But yeah, we'll definitely. And Alvin here can definitely explain more about it. And please do take some information. So yeah, we have
this is real time, y'all. This is happening.
This is real time. We got folks coming by. They're taking.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, honey.
Oh, we have no idea.
Yeah, hon, I'm not sure on that one.
We're also ask questions too, so yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Well, DragonCon is huge, and there are, almost every space in here, be it the conference rooms or the ballrooms, something is going on, and somebody's always looking for something. I am usually that person saying, "Where am I? Where am I going? Somebody please help me."
Why you've been to DragonCon for I don't know how many years.
I know, but listen, if something's not in the Hilton.
Oh God, you're lost.
I am totally lost. Like it took me 8 years to find the Westin because there's nothing I need over in the Westin. But Michael's a role player dude, and that's what's happening over there. So I walked over, I'm like, this is a whole nother life.
Oh
what is
happening? Gosh. Let me introduce Leighann officially before we start getting the conversation. So Leighann is a comedian. She's a seasoned NYC, New York City based stand-up. Shout out to New York City, who has been seen on Comedy Central, HBO, The View, and in the Netflix Def Comedy Jam's 25th anniversary special.
Oh, Lord.
She's performed for the troops in the Middle East, was named one of the 35 most hilarious comedians of diversity, was a national finalist in the American Black Film Festival HBO Comedy Wings competition and received the American Humanist Association's Humanist Arts Award. Yes, that is a mouthful.
It is.
Leighann can be seen in Showtime's Even More Funny Women of a Certain Age and her dry bar comedy special I Mean Business, and has had over 1 million views. Leighann is also the author of several humor books, including Dick Jokes. I have that. Alternate definitions for words you've probably never heard of, but definitely will never forget. And Real Women Do It Standing Up. Stories from the career of a very funny lady, which is available on Amazon.
Girl, you're not gonna read all of this, are you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, Lord.
Leighann is the former host of the Emmy-nominated Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson. She's also the creator of the People with Parents podcast, where she talks about the role reversal between adult children and aging parents. We definitely have to talk about that during the interview.
Okay.
The Wall Street Journal called it one of the 10 podcasts for older adults that promises to entertain and enlighten. Leighann is currently the host for the Center for Inquiry's online lecture series, Skeptical Inquirer Presents, and is the MC of the prestigious Irma Bombeck Writers Workshop. Welcome officially to the show.
Thank you.
Once again, happy birthday.
Yay, happy birthday to you too, my dear.
Yes.
It is Virgo season if you subscribe to that sort of thing.
Yeah, when I used to, I actually have the symbol on my wrist.
Okay.
It was when I only halfway took it seriously.
Right.
But it's just, astrology is fun. It's not really meant to take seriously.
It's party conversation.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So we always start off asking our guests, and I can't take you off this. I can't take myself off the screen, but I might be able to move over a little bit. But just talk. We like to have our guests, like featured prominently when you talk about your background. So just tell our viewers, like your religious background, what and how you ended up where you are. So yes, you start from the beginning and just take it from there.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Hello to everybody out there. Thank you for showing up and watching. I am. How do I start? I went to Catholic school. But not right away. I started first in public school and I wasn't doing well. And it was suggested that my mother moved me to a good school, a better school. And I often say if the best school in my neighborhood had been Wiccan, I would have been a Wiccan kid. It just happened that the best school at the time was a Catholic school. Yeah. So I didn't start until the 3rd grade. And I think that's important because I was 8 years old. We're past the age of 7, past the age of reason. So I didn't go in with the same reverence that kids who started in 1st and 2nd grade had. And by that point, I often say if I didn't believe in Santa Claus anymore, Jesus really didn't stand a chance.
Right.
What are we doing?
I love it.
So I was the kid who would raise my hand and ask questions. I'm like, who walked on water to what? That doesn't sound right at all. And the other kids are like, you can't do that. I'm like, well, what are you doing it? But I was also one of these kids, in for a penny, in for a pound. And so I eventually, that was my grammar school and high school education. I became an altar girl. I know. Here's the thing. They ran out of boys. There were no boys to do the job, of course, so they came to women. And the girls were like, sure, we'll do it. And my church was like, okay. When the bishop comes, don't say nothing. I'm not even kidding you. So, I became an altar girl, became a lector. But then I started having even more questions, as you should. And I'm in high school and I'm asking what I feel are these real questions. And I'm being told the answer, we just believe because, just have faith. And I'm like, that's not enough. That doesn't make sense for me. I went to college, and that was the first time I was back in sort of the public school system. And I'm meeting people who are saying, I'm meeting people who are from a Jewish background, from evangelical background, and everybody thinks their stuff is the right stuff. So you think you're right, and you think you're right, so maybe everybody's not right. It was sort of like a real world comparative religion study, and it exacerbated my own questions, and I realized I didn't have an answer yet, but I didn't want to go to church anymore because I felt hypocritical.
Okay.
And I sat down with my mom and I said, I don't want to go to church anymore. And I thought this was a very difficult conversation to have.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because the less religious I got, the more religious she was getting. I joke and say she was like black belt Catholic. This chick can rosary bead like it's nobody's business. And the wonderful thing that happened was my mom said she was obviously disappointed, but she had to believe that she and my dad raised me well enough to make my own decisions in the world.
Right.
And that they had to support that. And that is not everybody's experience.
Right. No,
it isn't. That's where I got kicked out part of the story.
Yeah.
And to have that love and support and that trust.
Yeah.
So it was almost like after that, a don't ask, don't tell. Okay. She didn't proselytize to me. I didn't proselytize to her. We just continued to love each other on our separate paths. And I can't even begin to say how lucky I feel to have had that experience. And listen, I went through we did spiritual stuff. We did crystals. The journey out for me was slow. Oh, is that a Ouija board? Girl. Yeah, I'm out. I'm out now, y'all.
And you were born and raised in New York.
I was born and raised in New York. I'm a rare native New Yorker. There's like 8 of us left because the rent is too damn high.
Well, yeah, definitely up there. But people really don't understand how even the struggle from coming from New York, where it is very diverse. You have it has the illusion of diversity because neighborhoods. You get into those neighborhoods are they're de facto segregated.
Yeah, de facto segregated, very monolithic sometimes. Mm-hmm. So we play diverse. Yeah, but yeah.
And what's interesting is because former president, hopefully future convict Donald Trump grew up in Jamaica Estates, which is very interesting. It's like a very, very exclusive, for those who don't know, it's a very exclusive area of Jamaica, Queens, and like almost a stone's throw is the hood.
Yes.
Near where I grew up.
Yes.
So, it's just so very, very interesting how segregated it can be in the 5 boroughs. And so we still have people think that because they're in a big city, that people don't have to deal with this, with this religious, with these challenges when it comes to religion. And it's like, no.
We're talking degrees and scale.
Yeah.
Is it Texas? Is it Florida? No. But you can have a small town mentality in a big city. Mm-hmm. There are folks who don't leave the Upper East Side. There are folks who won't come to Queens. So it really is about expanding your mind, and your mind can be small no matter what city you're in if you're not that person that's going to venture outside of your zip code.
Right. Yeah. And we've seen that. I definitely have witnessed that. There are some people who will not leave, not just Queens, but Jamaica or wherever they are. And part of that is because there's so much around there. There's so much convenience, but at the same time, it's like, look, you have to expand your surroundings in some way. But we know a lot of New Yorkers that have small town mentalities.
Yeah. You could blame it on the cost of travel. Like, how much is a Metro card now?
Oh, I don't know.
What are these fares? Like, they go up on the Easy Pass fare every time. I'm like,
Easy Pass is ridiculous.
I feel like New York City nickels and dimes me every day. Like, how am I still affording to live here? This is crazy. Right. So I might have to do this Atlanta thing.
Well, you know what?
No.
Certain parts of Atlanta, you got to.
Oh yes.
Certain parts of Atlanta, I mean, you get more for your money goes further, but yes, for a lot. So how did you get into comedy? And how has that really helped your skepticism even more?
Okay. So in a way, this sort of started with my family. My parents were hilarious. I grew up in a very funny family. Now, they weren't always funny on purpose, but they were great storytellers. Yeah. So I can say that I grew up with a lot of laughter in my house. Loved watching comedy on television. Back in the day, you flipping channels. I see that brick wall. Okay, that's what we're doing.
Right, yes.
That's exactly what, because there used to be a lot of stand-up comedy shows on back in the day. I did theater in college. That's where I got the love of being on stage.
Yeah.
But before that, in grammar school, and this was even in Catholic grammar school, I got picked on a lot. You know how it is. I mean, bullied, picked on because I was smart.
Yeah.
You know, braces. I mean, you know, skinny, awkward, smart kid. You know, that was the recipe for let's mess with this chick. Yeah. And I got tired of it. I again, type A, I sat down. I'm like, how do I make this stop? Yeah. Without sacrificing my grades, because my family's West Indian. You can't come home with no bad grades. We're not doing that. And I thought very logically, I'm like, if I pick on myself, if I make them laugh at me first, maybe that will stop. And it worked. Wow. And so I just kept doing that. I became the funny girl in 8th grade, in high school. That's how friends from back in the day know me. Right. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, they used to say, oh yeah, Leighan's going to be on Saturday Night Live. They didn't understand racism. Anyway, I shouldn't say that. But so that's the sort of the funny origin and underpinning, coming from a funny family, then doing theater in college. That was the getting on stage part. I was a journalism and creative writing major, so that's the writing piece. Yeah. And those things really sort of came together as after I graduated from college, had a regular job at a corporation. It was terrible. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Yeah. But then I had to ask myself, what do I want to do? Yeah. And I went on a little bit of a journey, which brought me to stand up. Okay. And I realized I wanted to try it. I wanted to take a class because, again, I'm type A. There's got to be a class. There's got to be a book. And I remember when I made the decision, I want to do this, I felt I should talk to my parents. Not because I needed permission as a grown woman, but I wanted to let them know, like, hey, you guys just invested in my college education, and I'm going to go be funny. So, yeah, and how did they take that? Well, I did the divide and conquer as any good daughter would. I said, well, who's the softest touch here? So I sat down with my dad first, and I said, Daddy, I think you should know I want to be a stand-up comedian. And my father looked at me and he said, what took you so long? Oh, shoot. What? Like, he was waiting for me to find myself. And I then told my mom, my dad, listen, he came to shows, he hung out, he was my biggest fan. My mom said, girl, listen, you don't have any children, you don't have a mortgage, you've done everything we've asked of you, go live your life. Yeah. While you have that opportunity. When I tell you I won the lottery of parents, yeah, the only thing better is if they had been rich. Like, right. What? Right. You know, why don't we have that Jeff Bezos money? You know what I'm saying? Right. But oh my God. I will take the love instead, and that's what I got. So that's the long story. People realize like how important it is to have that foundational support in your parents. I know I didn't have it, but it kind of makes us tough, which is not always good. See, but I feel like I've had to get tougher. Yeah. Because I'm not gonna say I'm soft, but I'm Pillsbury Dough girl. I'm not rough. I'm not rough at all. I don't recommend it, but it's like, because and I mean, all of us go through things in life where, we're going to have to find that strength. But yes. Having that foundational support in your parents, especially when you're sort of going against the grain in other ways. Very against the grain. I mean, having worked in entertainment for so long, if I had children, I would not want them to do this. Because this is a hard life. And anything where you are the person who is generating and responsible or for your own income, for your own life, you're your own company. This is a lot of work. It's almost easier to have a 9 to 5. You clock in, clock out, boom, you go home. I don't have those hours. If I'm not working, I'm not earning. Right. So it is a different level of responsibility to be self-motivated and work in the arts. Absolutely. As anybody out here who's an entrepreneur or a gig worker, I mean, I feel like I've been gigging before that became a term. Yeah. And that's scary. Yeah. It's very scary. It really is. So many people don't realize, like, even though, and people, how do you deal with people who equate being in the public eye to having a whole bunch of money? how do you deal with that? I show them my old Honda. I'm like, do you really think I'd be driving this old ass Honda if I was balling, y'all? Come on. I do think I want to think there's more of an understanding about what the economics are. I mean, particularly now, we have 2 entertainment unions that are on strike.
Yes.
The Writers Guild of America is on strike, as is the SAG-AFTRA, the Actors Union. And it's over money, people not being compensated for their work, for their talent, for their creativity. How do you justify, executives, CEOs making millions and people getting 2-cent residual checks for their work? I mean, what the stamp costs more. That shouldn't even be. So I think people are starting to understand that just because they see you on stage, they see you in the limelight, they see you at your best or doing, creative, fun work, that it's just, woo, we're making it rain. No, it might be a drizzle. If that.
And this also takes me to a question about how do you continue to, because there have been some comedians who have, now the term is unalived themselves. It's like, how do you maintain your sanity? How do you maintain yourself, especially in this field where you're expected to entertain everyone, but then your own challenges often, the moment you talk about them, it's like, well, I don't know if I like them anymore. I liked them when they were funny. I mean, just in this fickle world where where people are not allowed to express themselves, because we've seen some noted comedians unfortunately do that. So it's like, what is your routine for trying to maintain your sanity so that you don't become too overwhelmed?
Well, okay, there's a lot to answer in that question. I've been in therapy for a while.
Good.
Of course. There was a stretch there where bourbon was the answer. I don't recommend that at all, but truth. The stage for me, though, getting on stage, most people are terrified of that. They go, Leighann, how can you get on stage? And I'm like, how can you not?
Right.
To me, that was and still is my safe space. It's off stage that I find this is all insane to me. What we're expected to do as adults, I have no interest in this whatsoever. I like getting on stage. So that is the space for me to vent, but of course do it in a funny way, but to work out, things that are happening in my life. And very specifically, I'll point to when my parents started to age. And, these changes in life, the role reversal, I wasn't prepared for that at all. I didn't get that talk. I didn't know this was happening. They were fine until they weren't. And I didn't know how to process that except through my art. I would get on stage and I started talking about that. And an interesting thing happened, because I thought people wouldn't understand. People overstand it. Okay. I would have folks coming up to me. They would now tell me about their mom, about their grandfather, about their spouse, like people who are in the caregiver space. And I had no idea. So I'm processing my life and people are relating. So that is also a way of how I have coped. It's through my art. I started a podcast. You mentioned that. Thank you. It's still up. It's called People with Parents, and it's about the role reversal that happens between adult children and aging parents, because I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And I don't know what to do about this. So I would write it down and talk about it and telling these little funny stories about me and my parents that in the moment is frustrating, but in the telling of it relieves some of that tension. We had one of my favorite episode arcs. It's a three podcast episode arc where I woke up in the middle of the night, July, summertime, and I am sweating. I'm like, is this menopause? Is this how menopause starts? Girl, my father had turned on the heat in July, y'all. In July, because he was cold. Because he had that old man, thin skin. And we lived, just so you know, it was in a 2-family, multi-generational house. And then the question became, what temperature do you set the thermostat in a multi-generational house? And me and my dad are going at it. At one point, I removed the thermostat, installed one that I could control from my phone. That's where these thermostat wars went. That was one of the weekends I was emceeing Nexus, Northeast Conference on Science and Skepticism. I go to the conference. Everybody's like, "Hey, Leighann, how you doing? So what's going on with the thermostat?" Like, I didn't realize people were listening. and going, so what happened, girl? What happened next? But it was extremely frustrating. But I'm sharing this story and also learning that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And that people do feel alone in that particular struggle as a caregiver. If you are now the adult child, what? How am I in charge? Like, what? Yeah. Why aren't you taking your medicine, sir? No, you can't drive this car. Have you ever tried to take keys from a grown man? It is. Yeah. So in terms of preserving my sanity, my time on stage is what has saved me.
Awesome.
That has been my life.
Good.
In addition to therapy and occasional bourbon.
Yeah. So speaking of being on stage, you have been a part of DragonCon for how many years?
Okay,
now?
I had to look at my old badges.
Yeah.
I started coming here. I was first invited to come here in 2015. Girl.
Okay.
So this is my 9th con, and I'm like, I don't even understand where this time went.
We actually, I was only here like the year before.
Okay.
So yeah, we started around the same time.
Okay.
And so tell the viewers like what DragonCon is like for you, and what, just tell them about the DragonCon experience.
Oh my goodness.
If they don't already know.
Okay. I'm not going to assume that everybody in this audience is nerdy, but DragonCon, the easiest way to explain it, it's like Comic-Con. And this is where I call it big tent nerdy, nerd nirvana. You will find people who are interested in science fiction. So Star Trek, Star Wars, anime, comic books, movies, the whole Marvel DC universe. It's, again, big tent nerdy. Folks come here to get their nerd on. Yeah. One of the big things here at DragonCon, people cosplay. So they're dressed in costumes, and folks are putting in Hollywood level expertise in their costume. Like, you look at some people like, hey, did you actually work on this movie? I mean, it's just exquisite. The creativity in the nerd community is. Listen, I'm showing up with my little Star Trek necklace and my little elf ears, thinking I'm doing something. I'm just hanging out. But it is for. If this is something that you are interested in, it's like summer camp. It's just summer camp, and it's fun, and I look forward to it every year, and I feel grateful to be invited, because real talk, if I had to pay to come here, I wouldn't be here. I'd be nerding in my living room with my cat watching old episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah. It's a pretty pricey. You got to get in. You got to get in the membership badge like very early.
Yes.
The rates for the hotels are pretty pricey.
People have already made their hotel reservations for next year.
They start that very, very early.
Yes.
And the one thing I love about it is that it's multi-generational.
Oh, yes.
There is so much nostalgia with, I posted, I oh my gosh, it is just, it runs the gamut of, like, one of the themes for the Hilton is Super Mario.
Oh, okay. That explains the shirts now. Okay.
Yes, they have Super Mario around here. They have this huge display on the first floor. And the hotel employees are wearing Mario shirts for the con. Hey, Cynthia's in the chat. Hey. And it's just like you said, it really is. And what I love is seeing the increase of Black folks that are here over the years.
Listen. Well, first, when I was first invited, I didn't even know what DragonCon was. I had to be introduced to this concept. The year that really hit home for me with Black folks at the con, it's 2018.
Yeah. Yes.
That was Wakanda.
Yeah.
Black Panther came out that February, and y'all know what a moment in time and what a moment in history that was. And so it was reflected here at DragonCon. Now, normally, folks don't think we nerd.
Yeah.
Okay, we do. So to go from people dressing up as Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and now to have our own thing, and I was invited to the DC Black Geeks.
Yeah.
They do photo shoots, and people come in their cosplay and their costumes, and I'm like, I don't have a costume. They said, girl, just dress like you from the village. Just dress like you from the Wakanda hood. So I had this little kente cloth dress. I showed up. Girl, I'm almost tearing up because it was so beautiful. to see the creativity that we had. How you see 10 dudes dressed as Black Panther looking amazing, dudes dressed as M'Baku. I mean, they just represented.
Them bodies be banging.
The bodies be banging. Although there's no body shaming at DragonCon.
Exactly, no, not at all.
And not everybody be fitting the costume right, but people be coming. Like you see Batman, it's like, woo.
Yeah.
Did you eat Robin, sir? Like, what is happening? But no body shaming.
Right.
But I remember that year there was a group of sisters who were dressed as the Dora Milaje. These chicks had the shaved heads. I mean, they came, and my heart was just so full to see us be us in the fullness of our creativity and nerddom. Right. And to know that we're here, because you come and you might not know, because we might be spread out. You might not, have come with anybody. And that's the other thing. You don't have to. No. You come here and you are, all you got to do is just hang out with the right, just stand there and folks start talking to you.
Yeah. Especially at night.
Oh, DragonCon at night is a whole other experience. Yeah. That's for grown folk, y'all.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite moments is that year I was in the parade, the DragonCon parade that year. And I saw on the parade route, one of the people watching was a little white boy. He had to be no more than 3 or 4 years old. And he was dressed as Black Panther. And it was hot, so he had taken the top off, but he still had the costume on. And I'm like, that is the promise of what science fiction, of what fantasy, that to be united in something that we all love. Because how many of us have run around in Wonder Woman costumes and all that? But and to have that crossover, and for him to have parents that said yes. Yeah. Because he's 4, he's not buying that costume. He didn't buy that. Right. But I saw that and it warmed my heart. So we here. Yeah. We in here.
Absolutely. Yes. And you always present with the Skep track every year.
Yes.
And what other tracks have you performed with?
Okay, so Skep track is the initial track that brought me in. There's a natural crossover between that and Science track. It's literally across the hall. And I'm connected in that way because of my work, or people know me or knew me from Star Talk with Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. And people think I'm a scientist. I'm like, no, I am science adjacent. I am next to people who know science. Speaking of tracks, we just mentioned the Skep track. Yeah.
As Derek, the director, Derek Colanduno, the director of the Skep track.
Lean on in here, honey.
He's on the, he can peek in and say hello to everybody.
To our live audience.
Oh, there's a camera.
Can you lean in?
I didn't know you were going to
Yes, you're here.
Get me on camera. I mean, I'm being fondled by.
And you know what? I don't want your girl to see that, and then I gotta fight people.
Yeah. You gotta fight me. You get just an eye, there we go.
Yes.
This gentleman.
Who's watching this?
Everyone on YouTube and Facebook.
The whole
world.
Live.
The world.
Yes.
The whole world.
Le Monde.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yes.
And it will be on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
Just a FYI.
So this gentleman, the various groups are called tracks. I have no idea why. Skep track is short for the skeptical track, so it's a natural connection with BlackNonbelievers.
Yes.
Me and my atheist self. And they very graciously invite me in every year. So Skep track is how I got in. Have branched out as well to the science track, women in digital media track. I'm trying to get on the track, y'all, because I am hardcore track right here. No, I am not.
What is the criteria?
I have no idea. Clearly, it's a restraining order issue.
Yeah, but the grant.
I mean, I know there's always a lot of trackies here. Well, no doubt about it. But
so if you didn't know, the track is actually, the director is actually one of the stars of Gary. Yeah. So he was with the engineer on Voyager.
Yes. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
And never got a promotion. But that's really nerdy stuff. We don't have to get into that.
Yeah, really. Anyway, so he's the man. And Joe, who's a friend of mine, is kind of his second or third. And you met Joe.
Okay. I meet a lot of people.
He was at your birthday. Last
that Joe.
Yeah.
We celebrated my birthday. Well, we've been celebrating every day, but we have drinks opening night. So that's why I normally don't sound like this. I still got whiskey voice.
So if
Did you ever
know,
get to that rum bucket? I'm sorry not to interrupt.
Rum bucket.
Remember the rum bucket that they were talking about?
No.
I'm sorry.
alcohol comes up and now everything was off the rails.
Sorry. Sorry.
I remember
so
that.
where are you off to? Are you just hanging out?
I was just walking.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't get much of a chance to do it.
No, I rarely see you outside the room.
I know.
This is a lot.
But yes, Joe.
Well, let's talk.
Joe, he is your in.
Okay.
He's Garrett kind of is the director, but Joe, he lives here.
Okay.
Garrett lives in LA.
See, we're making stuff happen, y'all.
So
my dream is coming alive.
So butter up to Joe, and Joe will try to help you out.
All right, point me in the right direction.
It's just amazing how much you can get involved in here once you're in.
Once you're in.
I mean,
so you're out of here.
We started.
I'm about to leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good seeing you.
Yeah.
I'm out here trying to resist buying over expensive food.
Oh, yeah, no buy. Resistance is futile. Just go buy the food.
Okay. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, it's always like tens of thousands of people here. Were you saying the other day that they capped it at 65,000? Yeah.
So what we did is the first year we came back after the pandemic, it was like 35,000.
It was light. It was really light.
And then the next year it was 50, and this year I think it's 65 or 70.
Yeah.
You're capping a convention at this many thousands of people. I mean,
and understand at its height, this is pre-pandemic. I believe it was up to 95,000.
Yeah, it was close to 100,000.
No. The year.
No?
The year before the pandemic,
okay,
it was probably around 120.
Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah. Okay, I was wrong.
Yeah, I was there for that.
No,
yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Walking from here to the elevator would take it about 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, we would have our own internal traffic report.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
But what that means, this is if you're not from this area, and I'm not, but this is the area for the con, downtown Atlanta, 5 host hotels.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just the zone. I mean, you have to plan. If I'm leaving my hotel room and I have to be somewhere at 1, I should probably leave at 12.
Yeah.
And we're just talking what would normally just be a 5-minute walk. But that's how many people come and congregate and want to be here.
Right.
But what we're doing now is after the pandemic, it gave us a little time to like sit around, think about it.
Yeah.
And as directors and the people in charge, we're upping it by like 10, 20,000 each year.
Okay.
Until we find like
the sweet spot
where it goes too much, and we'll go back to one before it.
Okay.
So we're trying to find where the sweet spot is.
Well, listen, as long as I'm one of the people, as long as we make the cut.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to be very selfish right now. Yes, me.
Yeah.
Pick me. I'm literally saying pick me.
Why wouldn't?
I'm just saying, dude, I am stunned every year I get the invitation. I don't take it for granted. I really don't.
Right.
No.
Because people change.
Here's the deal. Like, I usually, at the beginning I had to like get you in.
Yeah.
And now, like,
it's like a no-brainer.
They offer it to you before I even like get around to it.
Well, I'm not the only comic here. My partner in crime.
So they had no comedy before.
No, they didn't.
You and Ian, and now we have like the Geekapalooza.
Yeah, Geekapalooza, Comedy for a Cause, which is on opening night, Thursday night. We do a comedy show with multiple comedians and raise money for whatever the cause that year is.
I know, and that was because of the fact that my track, we had comedians, and they're like, "Oh my god,
the Skep track makes history, people. You are hearing this live.
Why don't we use comedy to like raise money? Because DragonCon, it's all volunteers. Even the people at the top, nobody makes any money.
Wait, I'm not getting paid.
Nope, nobody does. Even the people we bring in. We've had we had James Gunn come the year that the first Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and the top they ever get is travel, hotel, and some per diem. They want the people that come to DragonCon.
No per diem. Who I call to get this per diem? I got it last year. I didn't get it this year. But I got my 2020 badge. I'm very proud about that.
But yeah, so even DragonCon, they just want even the biggest names to come to be here because they want to be here.
Right. And I think that says a lot.
And that's the reason why we're not San Diego Comic Con.
We're not what?
We're not the San Diego Comic Con, where it's like big name people and everything there costs like you to even
how
like
much you
see
have to pay
somebody.
For like the
it's extra.
Yeah.
And like one badge at your membership badge at DragonCon gets you into everything.
Yeah. Oh, but not there. Okay.
No.
See, I don't go to any other cons. Not.
I mean, it's a great con.
Yeah.
It's fun, but and also, I like the culture around DragonCon because we use hotels, and I'll tell you why. When you walk into like some of those other cons, it's like one giant floor that
like Jacob Javits Center in New York City. That's where New York Comic Con is.
Yeah, same idea.
And I've been told the difference, because I haven't been to that one, believe it or not, that qualitatively the difference is what you just said, but that this is fan driven.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Nothing at DragonCon is top down. It's all.
Yes.
It's all. I'm a director. I get feedback from everybody around me, including the people who come, and then we just make things up.
Derek, I know last year we had a conversation about, I guess, like recommending like a similar, like a skeptic track at different. Have you ever been called in to consult about that?
At other conventions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I guess it didn't go well.
It wasn't that. It's I'm busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so a lot of times it's like, oh yeah, would you do that? Like, there's another big convention here in Atlanta, Frolicon.
Yes.
What's it called?
Frolicon.
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 As in frala la la la.
It's a little sex con. Sexy con. Most of the
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it.
I have. I haven't been there. I might need.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm trying to how do I jot this down?
It's usually it used to be the Sheridan, and now they Courtland Ground.
Oh, right.
It's usually that one. And they've asked, but I'm like, I don't have a problem with the con because I just don't have time. Okay. And then also, DragonCon has it's like DragonCon is the Labor Day, and then 6 months later we have MobileCon.
Right. Yes.
And MobileCon is less culture con and more media. It's mainly like anime and gaming.
Yeah.
So
my daughter went there.
So a lot of gaming, a lot of anime. Anime.
I don't shine in any of those.
So and they, they even said, "Hey, do you want to do tracks?" Like the tracks they have just don't fit.
Yeah. Understood.
It's like, I could do gaming. I used to write some books for D&D and White Wolf for stuff like that, but it's a convention that we'd probably just go to have fun. But so
there is something very special about DragonCon though, and the fact that there are so many of these elements incorporated.
I tell people, and I'm not kidding about this, I don't care what age you are, if you're not dead, there's something at DragonCon.
Absolutely.
Right now we're in the Hilton. The Hilton is kind of basically the reality hotel. We have the science, space.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes.
Skeptics.
There was a NASA track one year.
Well, we already have. It's over there.
Oh, it's still okay. I was on that one.
Same floor. It's right down there now.
Yeah, I was on that one. Yeah.
So we have that kind of stuff. We have some of the gaming, but most of it's now at Mart.
In the West End.
And the Merc. Well, most of the gaming now is.
Gaming. Okay.
Is at the American Mart. But we have some of it here. But so most of our robotics is here. So a lot of the reality stuff is here. Then you go to the Marriott, and that's mainly
Sodom and Gomorrah. The Marriott is Sodom and Gomorrah.
But the content,
the content,
the programming there is mainly the Star Wars stuff.
That explains
a lot of the fantasy stuff over there too.
No. Fantasy is mainly Hyatt.
Okay.
And then some of the weird esoteric stuff is over at the Portland Grand.
Okay.
Like the X track is over there.
Oh yes, they have a lot of the panels after dark.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff, like the naughty novels. Naughty, do you hear me? Oh
and then the Westin has some bizarre stuff that they have, like the Apocalypse track, and all the kids programming is the Westin.
And isn't the D&D stuff there? There's some stuff that used to be at the Westin, no?
Well, I don't think gaming is there.
Okay.
The gaming is mainly over at the what do you call it? The
America's Mart?
American Mart, no.
Okay.
Yeah,
in case y'all needed to know where to go.
Right. So it's the convention spans 5 hotels plus America's Mart, which is
3 floors.
3 floors of America's Mart. Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's I can't
do the Mart this year.
That's where my partner and her daughter are now.
Oh, good luck.
Cena was like, "You have to go shopping with me." It's like
I've been to the Mart. I can't.
I don't think I've ever been, and I don't think I want to.
Well, okay, you don't need no money to go to the bar. They will take your credit card.
Yeah.
Oh, they will do that.
Like, oh, wait, did you bring the mortgage to the house?
There is the Star Trek stuff. Did we just say that? Is that at the Marriott or
isn't that downstairs?
Star Trek is usually downstairs.
Oh, here in the Hilton.
Yeah.
So just a FYI.
Basement of the Hilton.
Oh yeah.
And that's where gaming used to be.
The downstairs is the 10 forward of the Hilton. If you are a Star Trek fan.
Yeah. So yeah, that's down there.
So close, and yet so far.
Yeah, like when like the Next Generation folks, they were usually the third floor, because they all hang out at the Nikolai's roof at night.
Oh, do they?
They used to.
Oh.
I don't know where they are now. I haven't talked to any of them.
I'll find them. We'll sniff them out. That sounds creepy. Can we edit that out?
No.
No, it went live.
No, it's live, and
Okay.
we keep it as is. We don't do we don't do editing here on this show. Not much, because we don't really have an editing department.
Right.
But,
That would be you. You would be the editing department.
Alvin's for that.
Yeah.
No, he's security right now.
Security.
He's doing photography, security, the whole deal. Well done, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Right.
So
You'll
I
get
have a
food.
request for us to take
Yeah,
pictures.
Okay.
Yes. All right, Derek.
I got to find food that I can afford.
Yeah.
No, good luck. You might have to leave the ground, sir.
I might. I don't have time for that.
And they need to be treating those directors a whole lot better then. I mean, they shouldn't have to hunt for food.
No,
like
they
that.
should not.
That's ridiculous.
They should not.
But so if we
What were we saying?
if we hadn't been advertising this convention enough,
Right.
it's always an amazing time. We will be coming up with a comprehensive plan next year to have more of our folks here. There was a time where a few folks came in to help table and stuff, and it's always a good time, but we want our folks represented here. So part of what your donations do is you do help sponsor the membership badges, as they are called. You help us pay for those who who can't necessarily afford it, or if you are volunteering for us, then we want you to be able to have this experience of this convention and this network and community. So please know that your support for us also helps support this. So I mean, it really makes just a huge difference.
And if I may, and correct me if I'm speaking out of turn here, we're not just talking about DragonCon.
No.
There are other secular conferences where I've been fortunate enough to be invited to perform, but where we are not necessarily represented. Like I'll see you, and maybe a handful of other folks, and representation matters.
Yeah.
I remember when I first sort of started branching out into, first was agnostic, because I told you my path out was slow. And then I started meeting other atheists. You would have thought I was going to Disney World. I would meet another Black atheist. We'd be like, oh my God, I was so excited. I just went up and started talking to people like I'm a toddler. But it made me feel so seen to see other atheists, other Black atheists, folks who had come out from whatever their tradition was, whether it was evangelical or Catholic or Jehovah's Witnesses. It's like, whoo, girl, you made it out too? Like, it's just to have those conversations.
And we're seeing more people who, whenever they see us here every year, they look forward to it. They're like, oh my gosh, I love the work you do. I'm so glad to see y'all. I mean, these are the spaces where we need to be.
Right.
And
And to even when you were talking to other people or talking amongst ourselves, getting that language of how we talk to family members and friends. Because you and I were both part of the African Americans
for Humanism.
That
Billboard campaign.
Yeah, the Billboard campaign that was sponsored. I believe that was CFI that sponsored that. And it really was, the thrust of the campaign was doubts about religion. You're not alone.
Yeah.
That's all it was. We weren't running into churches pulling folks out. It was letting people know that folks that looked like them had doubts. And when the billboards and whatever, it was one person with 7 cities. You were Atlanta, I'm New York. When the billboards in New York came out, I had somebody message me because they didn't know. They thought I was atheist. And they literally said, but you're such a nice person.
Sorry.
And I said, exactly.
Right.
That's the point. Yes, I'm a good person. How about that? And I know she didn't mean it to sound messed up, but that's what folks are thinking.
Yeah.
That we're out here sacrificing babies. But to put that seed in her mind that I didn't have to go to church or subscribe to a religion to be a good person. And I'm hoping that thought experiment, played out for her and for other people.
Alvin, can you?
Oh, that's okay. No, it's okay, honey. It's okay. Yeah, we are out here in public, y'all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just to finish the thought that my life, just living my life as a decent person, should be a good enough example now.
Right.
And then if people want to because I don't argue anymore.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I would love to destroy people with my arguments. And I realized I had to grow up a little bit. This shaking your finger in people's faces, having arguments, it doesn't change people's minds.
Yeah.
It doesn't. But just if I can exist in the world, being who I am, and people go, oh, so she's an atheist and she's nice, but yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm perfect.
And meeting fellow atheists in the process.
Yes. And that really matters. It's like you find your tribe. Can I say that? Is that cultural appropriation?
Yeah. No, that's right.
You find your group.
But you know what we also do is when we are finding ourselves in a position where we are having these tense conversations, it's like we're prepared better because we've had them here. We've had religious people accost us. And so after that, it's like, well,
have you read your own book?
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
what are you doing?
Part right there. Yeah. So, there are times where it happens, but when it does happen, we're prepared for it. And it's not, it's not this thing where, we don't. And my thing is, I'm not going to do the knockout, drag down thing. I'm like, look,
no.
If you are hell bent on keeping your beliefs fine, I mean, hey.
Listen, everybody needs a teddy bear.
Yeah.
Everybody life is hard. Adulthood is rough. We go through stuff, and I understand that people need things. They need comfort. My issue is when I tell you what kind of teddy bear you should have.
Right.
We don't get to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get to impose on other people, and I think that's what happens.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yes.
For religious folk.
Yeah, and we love this space where there are so many open-minded people. There are so many people who are just considered out of that norm, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I mean, this convention is a safe space for a number of people.
Yeah.
It really, really is. And so that's one of the reasons why we enjoy it here every year. Yeah. Besides seeing all the costumes, and we're seeing some, as folks walk by now. And so, if you are, in the future.
What was the comment?
She says she prefers a teddy bear of wine.
Listen.
We're going to show that one real quick. Yes, because that is is what it is.
Yeah. and then also, just understanding most folks are, I don't want to say indoctrinated, but they're brought up with religion.
Yeah.
This is what their family has taught them, and nobody wants to believe or think that their family didn't do right by them, and so leaving religion can be seen as a betrayal or turning your back on what your family gave you. There are very few folks that make it out for that reason, and to the strength to have those thoughts, to follow through, to go, you know what, I was raised with this, thank you, but no, it's very, very difficult for people to do. For some people, it's easier to not believe and just stay and be quiet.
Right.
So you're meeting folk, a different level of folk.
Absolutely.
Who are brave enough to take that step.
Yes. But we are coming up at the top of the hour. What? Man, we could have, this flew by so fast.
It did.
And thank you so much for being our guest on the show today, Leighann. I'm so glad you could spend part about your birthday with us. This is going to be, it's fabulous as always.
I do try.
And please, we linked your website into the chat in the description.
Yay.
Please do follow, support, and Leighann at veryfunnylady.com. on all social media. She's a very funny lady. So follow her on all the interwebs.
Yes.
Facebook,
Instagram, TikTok against my will. Twitter, because I still love a good dumpster fire. Although I know he changed the name to Malcolm X, so I'm on there.
Not Malcolm X.
And Barack Obama is following me on Twitter, and you should too.
Yes. See, I love it. We got.
I'm gonna get Michelle. I ain't got her yet.
Yeah. That is awesome. So yes, thank you so much once again,
Mandisa. Thank you and happy birthday.
And thank you. I know we will see each other again
in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yes. So this is the part of the show where we announce our upcoming events. Okay. On Monday, if you are in town, join me for my birthday celebration at Mary Mac's Tea Room, which is Midtown at Ponce de Leon Avenue. 6 o'clock. Meet us there. Come have a good time. Celebrate my birthday with me. On September 17th in Detroit, join Kelly and the crew for brunch talk at Public House at noon. Please get there on time. There is a reservation. If you can't make it, let her know, but please do communicate with her. Also, in Philly on the 17th, meet the crew over there for Beatin' and Coffee at Mattis Coffee Roasters at 3 p.m. Those links will be shared in the chat. Also on October 20th, stay tuned for more details about the Halloween extravaganza that we are planning with the Satanic Temple, the local chapter here. So yes, and proceeds from that event will go to support some reproductive justice organizations down here in the Atlanta area that primarily service women of color. You know what? Another show I have to tell you about the counter protest that we went to. That was a doozy.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This is a conversation for sure. But also, just as a reminder, we are currently seeking board members for BN, so the link will be shared in order to apply. The Godless Gospel Music Project is still looking for singers. If you are talented and you like to sing, please do submit your audition. This is paid. This is a paid opportunity. Pay for performances, pay for rehearsals, and so yeah. The music is fabulous too. Shout out to Dan Barker and Andre Forbes for the fabulous music that they produce. But yeah, no, I mean,
I'm not a singer. I sing in the shower and my neighbors complain. It's very sad. It's very sad.
Also, if you're looking for a very fun gift to give at any given time of the year, pick up a copy of Name Dropping, the frustratingly fun movie trivia card game that was created by new board member Deanna Williams and her best friend Jesus Reyna. Name Dropping, you can click on the link in the chat to purchase at any given time. That wraps up our live broadcast from DragonCon 2023 at In the Cut. We hope you enjoyed it. Just as a reminder, we air every first and third Saturday of each month. Please like and subscribe and spread the word about this video. Follow us everywhere on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are still inching closer to that mark where we can start monetizing and doing super chats. So please do watch the replays of this show. Watch the previous content that we have. There's some really good information. Also, do find your local BN affiliate on Meetup or join all of them. We are always looking for new leaders. So if you are interested in stepping up to the plate, reach out to us. We'll go ahead and get you started so that we can continue to grow our organization. And of course, last but not least, we cannot stress this enough. Please, please, please donate. Please make a contribution to our organization to support our work. It really, really makes a difference. And also, you can purchase your swag. We do have an online store. And again, if you are coming down to DragonCon this weekend, we have our table set up. There's a lot here. And so please do make sure that you support your favorite Black atheist organization. So take care. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.